Spain's Football Federation has called for their president, Luis Rubiales, to step down. This happens while the nation's high court prosecutor has now opened a preliminary investigation into whether Rubiales might have committed an act of sexual aggression when he grabbed player Jenni Hermoso and kissed her on the lips after Spain's victory in the Women's World Cup. Hermoso, her teammates, and the Spanish government say it was unwanted and demeaning. Rubiales' mother has decided to go on a hunger strike inside of a church in support of her son. And joining us now for much more on this and the fallout from it is USA Today columnist and ABC News contributor Christine Brennan. Christine, thanks so much for being here.
Trevor, thank you.
Of course. So what is your reaction to the Spanish Football Federation calling on Rubiales to step down and then the High Court opening this investigation?
Absolutely. It's about time. It's past time. This has been more than a week. As you know, Trevor, the Spanish team won the World Cup Sunday morning. And here it is Monday evening, a full 8 days later, almost 9 days later. And the idea that this man felt that he could get away with kissing, forcibly kissing, some might even call it sexual assault, of a player who's obviously the star, one of the stars of the Spanish team, Jenni Hermoso, the greatest goal scorer in the history of Spanish women's soccer. And the Spanish government has been saying from the get-go how terrible this is. Well, the Football Federation has been cheering him. There was the scenes of him saying he wasn't going to resign. Back right after it happened, Trevor, the Minister of Equality in Spain said that this was a form of sexual violence. She said that within hours after it happened in Australia. So the government has been strong on this from the beginning. Obviously, the Football Federation is now on board, and he is already suspended for 3 months by FIFA, the worldwide soccer governing body.
We did also, Christine, I know, finally hear from Spain's coach, Jorge Vilda. He called it improper behavior. Of course, Vilda himself has had 15 complaints against him going back before the World Cup. What happened with those?
Yeah, they were coaching technique questions, mental, emotional abuse. The players alleged there were 15 players. These were 15 of the best players in Spain. In other words, they were on the national team. And they all wrote letters, personal letters, to the Federation, which of course means Luis Rubiales, of all people, back in late September last year. So we're almost at the year mark for that. And they complained. They said they needed changes. They needed changes in the coaching staff. It was emotional. It was a concern about health, concern about injuries, pretty much everything across the board, that they were worried that Vilda was not doing his job properly and that they were being targeted by him. Instead of listening to the players, the Spanish Federation went with Vilda 100% and told all 15 players they were no longer on the team. And they only brought 3 of them back. 12 never made it to the World Cup, which is pretty sad when you think about it. Only 3 made it on the World Cup team, the 23-woman World Cup team.
It is all highlighting a much broader conversation, Christine, that clearly you've been beating the drum on for quite some time about what particularly female athletes have had to endure, coaches abusing their power. Given what we're seeing and how obviously there's a lot of attention on this, but clearly there's much more that was left behind. Is the world getting any better at preventing these types of things? Is there any reason to think that there's going to be actual institutional change here?
Trevor, it's a great question. Like, is this a reckoning? Is this that watershed moment that we've been waiting for? You know, we would have thought these things might have happened sooner around the world. But as one of the government officials in Spain said this week, this is their Me Too movement. This is their Me Too moment. And this is something that apparently happens in countries at different times. The machismo, the misogyny, the sexism of the Spanish Football Federation, there it is on display for all to see. That Rubiales felt so comfortable doing that in public. What in the world's going on behind the scenes in that federation? Well, now the world sees it. And what we have seen pretty much around the world and across the board is support for Jenni Hermoso and support for the women and anger at Rubiales. And that is a huge step forward.
And Christine, before I let you go, I just want to make a point to end this segment, if we can, talking about Jenni Hermoso. I mean, we want to make sure that she's not just the woman who was kissed against her will. She's a World Cup champion. She's a legend in Spanish soccer. She's not what happened to her. Can you just talk a little bit about the kind of player she is and the kind of leader that she is?
That's such a good point, Trevor. Absolutely. 33 years old, the greatest goal scorer in the history of Spain. She's 5'9", which is pretty tall in soccer, which makes her a great target in front of the goal and set pieces and what have you. And she is the leader of Spain in so many ways. And so a great career, not just a good career, but a legendary career, which is why the world is all the soccer players around the world are wearing our wristbands saying that they're with her. They support her because she's such a popular figure and she's such an excellent soccer player. And yes, I agree with you that it's much more than that kiss. This is a woman of substance, a great athlete, a great person. And actually, I think she's going to end up doing even better things moving forward.
Certainly, people looking forward to what she's going to do, but they're also looking forward to much more from her on the pitch. Christine Brennan, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure, Trevor. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.